Welcome everyone to the 2021 ICC Build-A-Thon. And we have quite the spectacle prepared for you today, and it would not be a Build-A-Thon without having co-directors of sales engineering, Travis Cox and Kevin McCluskey with us. And so Travis and Kevin, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Kent. We are live at Inductive Automation's headquarters for the 2021 Build-A-Thon. We could not be more excited to be here today, and this competition is shaping up to be one fierce competition, Kevin.
Absolutely it is. Coming to you from the Folsom, California multi-million-dollar SCADA arena, this is the premier event in SCADA competitions.
This is the Build-A-Thon 3D in 2D.
Back over to you, Kent.
Well, thanks for that, guys. That was special. But we're so used to seeing Travis and Kevin go head-to-head for this Build-A-Thon, but as the landscape of competitive SCADA has grown, we've been able to look into our Ignition community to find competitors. And this year, we're excited to announce that we have selected 2 of our top integrators to be competing, and each has selected a champion to represent them. The first company is Flexware Innovation, and they have selected as a champion Reese Tyson. Woo! Absolutely, and as our second company, we have selected Vertech, and Vertech has chosen as their champion none other than Ryan Crownover. To give you a little background on this Build-A-Thon, these 2 teams have been given a little heads up. So about 30 days ago, we let them know what they would be building, and so they've had some time to think, some time to prepare. They've had some chances to build some exchange resources that they could leverage during today's competition. But they're going to be assembling everything live, building a live project for you. And at the end, it'll be up to you, the Ignition community, to decide who has built the best project and who will be crowned the next champion of the ICC Build-A-Thon. And so with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the competition. Now, gentlemen, go ahead. To give you a little more background here, in the past, Travis and Kevin have just been building the same project. We've done a lot of water, wastewater, HMI type things, and this year we wanted to mix it up a little bit. And so we actually polled our community and we asked them what they would like to see built. And the top 2 selections were a next-gen dashboard and a next-gen HMI. And so each of these teams have been assigned one of those topics. Vertech will be showing off next-gen dashboards. Flexware Innovation will be showing off next-gen HMIs. And you'll be able to see who has built the best project. But as we go through the Build-A-Thon, our goal is always to deliver new resources for you in the Ignition community. And so all of the things that they are going to be building today will be made public on the Ignition Exchange so that you can download them and use them for your projects. But you're probably curious, what are they planning to do with those topics? What are they going to build? And we have prepared some game plan videos to give you a sneak peek into what they'll be building. And so first off, we're going to go to a game plan video from Vertech.
This is a great opportunity in front of us, and Flexware is a strong, formidable opponent. The Build-A-Thon this year is a place where we can bring Vertech's skill of leveraging the best of what Ignition has to offer to the community. Everyone supporting a facility needs their own view of the same information. It needs to be easy to access and effective in visualizing the data in a meaningful way. We've made 3 things we're going to give you today available on the Exchange. This is for you. First, we're building user customizable dashboards that can be built by anyone without opening a designer. Second, cutting-edge UI styling with dark and light themes and animations usable on other Ignition projects. And last, integration with Alexa and machine learning, ready to go out of the box.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see those dashboards. I'm a sucker for a good UI. That's tough to beat, but let's see what Flexware Innovation has in their game plan video.
Next-gen HMI. Begs the question, what technology are we not utilizing to its full extent? What can we incorporate into our SCADA systems that would make us more efficient at controlling our equipment? With how much technology is evolving, HMIs are much more than just an interface with a machine. So the resources that we have created aim to take advantage of emerging technologies such as intuitive mobile responsiveness, machine learning algorithms, and, well, I don't want to give away too much, but a revolutionary resource that will really change how you interact with the plant floor. So stay tuned for some truly exciting resources.
Well, there you have it. There's some incredible things that are going to be built for you today. Hopefully they can pull it all together in time. It's always exciting. And so at this point, we want to go to two people who have done this before, have felt that stress of building these projects. And so Travis and Kevin, what are your thoughts today?
Well, let me tell you, Kent, I am happy that I am on this side of the fence and I'm not over there. It was quite a stressful thing to have to do. But it is early in the competition. If you look at Vertech's designer here, they have got a couple of resources that have been imported. And now we're on the way of getting these things configured. And so, yeah, we're just getting started.
Absolutely. And so I appreciate that. And I should give you a little context here. So Travis and Kevin, even though they will not be actually doing the building today, they couldn't really stay out of the action. And so Travis and Kevin have been acting as coaches, as you saw in that intro video. And so as we go through this today, we'll be going to Travis and Kevin, and they will be telling us a little bit about what their teams are doing. They'll be talking about the things that they're building, and hopefully giving us a little sneak peek into what we can expect at the end. And so with that, Kevin, what are your thoughts on your team's game plan and how you think your team's going to do?
Well, I thought it was really interesting because there was a little more solid on the Vertech side in terms of we're going to do X and Y and Z, and on the Flexware side, it's a little bit more nebulous, a little bit more about, we're incorporating new technologies, we're going to take advantage of things that weren't available before and now they are with the movement of technology through time. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see the reveals of what that's actually going to look like here. If we check in with their designer right over here, the things that are on the screen, they have a few different components that have been put there. There's some tanks, the new piping tools that our community has just been introduced to it looks like they're utilizing those. They're putting together different components that all are connected. And once again, this is all from scratch, right? They're building this fresh, new for the Build-A-Thon, and we're going to see where it goes from here. Just getting started.
Yeah, and I think those game plans are really quite strong, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing for the rest of the competition here.
Yeah, me too.
But it's interesting. The Build-A-Thon started in 2018, and originally it was really a promo event so that we could show off a new module for the Ignition platform, which was Perspective. And at that time, Perspective was in a beta. It wasn't fully released at that point, never before seen. But Travis and Kevin were able to take that product and build some incredible projects. Now, 3 years later, both these teams working in Perspective again. But it's fun to see how much that product has grown over those 3 years and how the capabilities have changed. Travis and Kevin, what are your thoughts on Perspective now versus what you guys had to do in 2018?
Well, 2018 was an interesting year for me personally. So I'm sure Travis remembers this. You remember this, Kent. Taking a story, taking a walk down memory lane to talk about the story. I was one of the competitors. Travis was the other competitor, 2018 and 2019. And in 2018, we were using brand new features that had just been developed. And I happened to go just a little bit too close to the sun. So I was using some of these features that were right on the cutting edge, and when it came time to actually demonstrate this, it cut to me, and there was a completely black screen. It was very embarrassing.
Well, at that point, I did think, I think I have this one in the bag. Even though we both are pretty scared building on a beta product, that it was pretty ambitious. But nobody wants to do it just like us, man. We're okay to do some live demos over here.
Yeah, and you did have it in the bag that year. You won by a landslide.
We thought that was just going to be a one and done kind of thing. We did this Build-A-Thon, we introduced Perspective, and then we thought that was a lot of work. We're never going to tackle that again. But we got overwhelming feedback from the community that they loved that event and they wanted to see it come back. And so in 2019, we had Build-A-Thon 2.0 come out, Travis and Kevin going head to head, the rematch. And we thought that was really a good opportunity for us, to release new things. We'd released Perspective. And so in 2019, we introduced the Ignition community to something called the Ignition Exchange. Travis and Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about what that exchange was that we delivered in 2019?
Yeah, absolutely. The Ignition Exchange was really near and dear to our hearts. And it started out as sales engineering. We help customers and we build resources for them. Get them started with proof of concepts. And we wanted a way to be able to give that to the entire community. So this Ignition Exchange came out of that. It's a really important tool that the community has, so we can upload all these amazing resources, not just from our teams, but from everybody around the world. And that allows people to really elevate the type of projects they can create. So I was really excited to get that exchange out there and to do the Build-A-Thon again in 2019. It is such a great event.
And part of that Build-A-Thon in 2019 ended up being a heavy utilization of the exchange. So all of our resources that we were using in the Build-A-Thon, we had uploaded to the exchange and then available to the community immediately after the Build-A-Thon. Just to jump ahead to one of the questions that actually came in, these are going to be available on the exchange as well. All of these resources that you're about to see from these two teams, they'll be uploaded tomorrow. So they'll be up by the end of the day tomorrow, and you'll be able to download them. You'll be able to use them in all of your projects going forward. And I'd be remiss with not mentioning that in 2019 I won. So it was a good year for me, but it was a good year for the whole community because everybody really wins from having access to these resources.
So yes, you did win, Kevin. I forgot about a little thing called showmanship, but that's okay. We did focus on building some really cool exchange resources that we gave out there. But let me tell you, the two teams here today are really bringing the heat, and these resources you're going to be able to see are the cream of the crop. They're really amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see not only what they're doing right now, but what the rest of the community does with these resources after they're released into the wild. You guys are so innovative that are in the community, and we just love seeing what comes out of that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. We had Travis win the first year, Kevin win the second year, and we thought about going, the tiebreaker, round 3. But in the keynote yesterday, you saw we have been really focused on cultivating a good atmosphere here at Inductive Automation. We've been really focused on the overall feel of our company, and thought maybe they're a little too competitive over there, Travis and Kevin, and so we'll go ahead and leave it as a tie, and we'll let some new people come in and spark some life in this competition. I think that it's interesting anytime you have a transition like this, especially for Travis and Kevin. They've been in the hot seat, they've been kind of the center of attention. Curious, Travis and Kevin, your thoughts on how it's been stepping out of that limelight, how it's been taking on this mentorship role, and how it's been working with these two companies.
It's been a lot of fun. We've really, at least for me, I'll speak for myself personally, I've been able to, one, get to know Flexware a lot better, but through this process also pass on a lot of knowledge, pass on a lot of mentorship. These guys are already brilliant, right? They're great engineers. These two competitors that we have are the top of their game here. And so we're able to work with them, provide some guidance, provide some lessons learned from Build-A-Thons of the past, and still, I'm a pretty competitive person. I know, Travis, you are too. And so we're still able to represent and still able to be competing, even though we're not going right against each other. Colby mentioned it in the dev panel, but we have this glass right in, between us that we can't actually reach out and punch each other.
And boy, are you lucky that glass is there this year, boy. Let me tell you though, it has been fun to transition from a being competing in the event to now a coach, and it has allowed us to get to know our teams really well and to really again share some of that knowledge and help really shape the Ignition community at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun, and being a coach is a lot better. I'm starting to get a lot of gray hairs. I can't have the sleepless nights anymore.
All right, well, this isn't a talk-a-thon, it's a build-a-thon, so let's go ahead and jump back into what our teams are doing here. Travis and Kevin, can you walk us through how your teams are doing so far?
Yeah, so I think our teams are doing quite well. If you look here at the Vertech client, so we do have various exchange resources that have been pulled in, and some dashboards are really starting to shape up here. And we're building some different KPIs that are being shown. So a lot of progress has been made so far on the Vertech side for sure.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the Flexware side, at the designer over there, you can see that both the HMI has been built out a lot more, and then there's a number of bindings that are happening behind the scenes. If we switch over to the client, we're seeing something pretty interesting on the client right now. So I'm going to be interested to see what that actually is, how that works, and what it means. Yeah, nice little check-in here, but I'm sure more to come.
Well, and I can tell, this is a lot of work for these guys. And, Reese especially looks to be sweating over there, but it's nice that we have, some assistant coaches here. Here you can see Scott Whitlock coming in and helping out his guy. So, if I come and I look again at the questions that are coming in, people know that we're making next-gen dashboards today, specifically Vertech. Somebody asked, are they going to get any tips for how they build dashboards in Ignition? Are there any tools to make this easier?
Yeah, though the dashboard here, look at these user configurable dashboards. I mean, the idea is to have tools to make building these things really, really easy. Nobody wants to spend a lot of time doing that. You want to be able to quickly build them, add on to them, and be able to have and let all your engineers and your operators be able to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And another question that came in, is people are wondering about machine learning. That's a common topic that comes up, and there's some resources on the Exchange. Kevin, you've contributed some resources to the Exchange with regards to machine learning. Any tips or tricks for people at home about integrating machine learning into their projects?
Sure, I'll just say two things on that. So one, there are some machine learning libraries that are already built into Ignition. So behind the scenes, you can access them with scripting. And then there's the Exchange resource that was from a few competitions ago, it was from a few years ago, that specifically shows off how to do these things. Put that together for the conference and for machine learning sessions. So you can take that, load that up, take a look at it, how to do k-means and do regression analysis and some other things like that. In addition to that, though, I'd say we have a little sneak peek of what Vertech and Flexware are going to be doing here. So stay tuned for the end of this competition, because that might be interesting too.
Thanks, Kevin. I know that all of you are here to see these things get built. You're here to hear from Travis and Kevin. But the real reason, the deep reason that all of you showed up today is because you know that when you come to the Build-A-Thon, there is going to be some kind of musical entertainment that is here to wow you and amaze you. And today we are not going to disappoint. Today we do have a music video that we've put together for you, and it is music that is original this year. Rather than being a cover, this year we have an original song put together by the IA Department of Funk. And so I give you Champion.
The year 2021. The place. Inductive Automation's Ignition Community Conference Build-A-Thon. Never have we been on the precipice of destiny like today. Lay witness as two coaches teach two teams and attempt to lead them to victory.
Be the champion, Build-A-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion, Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. We could use a vote for me and my team. But teaming up with Vertech for me has been a dream. Cause after last year's loss, I've been waiting and scheming. Only way you keepin' that belt is by cheating. Those new features, our resource be packing. We'll earn those votes, man, we'll win, yeah, it's happening. Cause when we done with you, you'll be asking why you couldn't build one simple next-gen HMI.
I know that last year's nothing more than history, but the outcome never really was a mystery. Out here repping the championship belt, reliving the moment, the feeling I felt. But now you're out just saying gonna rain on my parade. But watch your face as that smile starts to fade. Flex was gonna bring it, it's gonna be brutal. Believe me when I say resistance is futile.
Be the champion, Build-A-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion with the Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Gonna have to wait and see.
It's not over, man, yeah, it's just begun. Yes, we're all aware that last year Kevin won. ego all blown up with this 5 seconds of fame. But watch a hammer drop as a victory I reclaim. It doesn't matter how many tires you slash. Doesn't matter that my headband's in the trash. Even with that belt, you'll take one on the chin, as I'm declared the winner once the votes are in.
Before the Build-A-Thon was a part of ICC, people still thought I was the best SC. And everybody knows the reality, that this competition's just a formality. And try as you might, at the end of the day, right behind me is where you're gonna stay. The Flexware team and I are number one, that's it. Game over, drop the mic, you're done.
To you, so you gotta take it now, champion. You know it's on, you know what you gotta do. Be that champion of the Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it now, champion. Who will it be? Vote for your VIP. Be that champion of the Build-A-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now, champion. You know it's on, you know what you gotta do. Be that champion of the Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it down, champion. Who will it be?
Come on and vote for me.
Come on and vote for me.
Vote for me.
Oh, vote for me, not Kevin.
Oh, vote for me.
We hope you had as much fun watching that as we had making it. And you know, it's fun for us to let our hair down a little bit and show you a little bit of that culture we have here at Inductive Automation. It was also fun for me because you know, in the last couple years I've been able to sing a lot of this, and this year I was able to pass the torch a little bit to have a rap battle between Travis and Kevin. In the chat, we encourage you to go and say who you think won, Team Travis or Team Kevin in that rap battle. But Travis and Kevin, what was it like for you guys as you were able to be part of making that music video?
Well, I got to say, I was really happy to be a part of the music video this year. Last couple of years, I wasn't a part of it, and man, it was a lot of fun to be able to shoot that. I think it was more fun to watch it here live than it was to actually shoot it. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed it.
That was a lot of shots, I'll tell you that. Yeah, it was. You know, we originally were going to license a song, but we decided we couldn't get the rights, and we decided, hey, why don't we just write one of our own? We've got a team of incredibly talented musicians, and so all of us decided that it would be a great idea. And I'd say if you think that I won the rap battle, vote Team Kevin.
But yeah, you know, still, it's always going to be Team Travis, though.
Well, yes. Hopefully, you don't vote just based on the musical prowess of the coaches, but truly you get a look at who has built the greatest project today. I think it would be fun to go and to see some of the things that have been built. So let's go back to our competitors again. Starting with Travis, can you show us what Vertech has going on?
Yeah, things have been shaping up quite a bit on the Vertech side. I'm really getting excited about what's being built out. But it looks like we have something fun for the audience. Ryan, can you explain what we got going on so far?
Absolutely. So what we've got going on this dashboard widget right here is we have live voting. You're going to be able to see 2 QR codes that'll show up. You'll be able to vote for whether you like coffee or chocolate better. And so when you select one of those, you'll see as we continue to develop these counters going up. You can see it's already going as some of you are hitting those links. So we've got that real-time voting. So those votes are hitting our Ignition server and updating those KPIs in our dashboard.
Oh, look at that. We got a lot of voting coming in. That's really excited.
Oh, it's a stiff competition here.
I know. I thought chocolate would be a clear winner here, but not really.
Yeah.
Excited to see things coming together here for Team Vertech, hoping that things are also coming together for Flexware. Kevin, you want to check in with your team?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Reese, you want to share something with us that you have in place at this point?
Absolutely. Sure. This first resource of five of them I'm putting together on the Exchange is actually a live chat support with Microsoft Teams. So sometimes we need to ask questions from an HMI, such as, hey, what's going on with this pump or whatever. It's really handy to have a link to an external system, be able to notify your manager or supervisor, whoever it might be, directly on an app that you're actually in. You don't have to be in Ignition. So to demonstrate this, I'm gonna, hey, I need some help. So we can send this out. And again, this is going to Microsoft Teams. If you use Microsoft Teams, you're familiar, you can see that popping up in the thread, the channel and the thread. And hopefully we get some reply back here. Oh, hey, it's Kevin. Hey, Reese, think you're doing great. Awesome. Well, that's what I got for now. So there you go, Kent. Overview of the first resource.
Well, that's incredible. In just the first half of the competition, we've already seen more impressive resources than anything that Travis or Kevin were ever able to build.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute there, Kent.
No, but yeah, I know it's exciting to see this integration already, those incredible looking dashboards by Team Vertech, able to see those live results coming in.
One other note I wanted to make here, Kent, is that, so Reese shared with me the link before the Build-A-Thon to the chat room that he has in Microsoft Teams right there. So I was able to join the room beforehand, and I have it up right here. So that's the way that interaction was able to go. As I understand it, if you're connected to any Teams server, if you have it connected, you log in with your Teams credentials, you should be able to get to the same thing.
Thank you, Kevin. And so, yeah, incredible to see these dashboards, to see Teams integration, chat. If that's just what we've got so far, excited to see how this all ends up. But in addition to these incredible resources that are going to be available to you on the Ignition Exchange, there have been a lot of submissions to the Exchange already that are really incredible. And so if you haven't gone and checked out the Exchange, we highly recommend you go check it out. And we've wanted to incentivize people to be uploading cool things. And so we actually had an Exchange challenge where we were able to invite members of the Ignition community to submit their resources to the Exchange. And we wanted to highlight the top 3, the winners of this Exchange challenge, here live during the Build-A-Thon. Now, because we are indecisive, we could not narrow it down to just 3. And so I do have a 4th honorable mention that I'd like to start with. And so for that honorable mention, we have none other than this heat map example by Matthew. Now, this is a view containing a heat map example using an XY chart. And this resource was inspired by a post on our forum, actually, and uses a 32 by 32 grid as an example. Matthew has also published a variety of other resources on the Exchange. Matthew, thank you so much for this submission. 3rd place, we have the I/O devices library submitted by Arnaud. The I/O device library is providing pre-configured status and diagnostic faceplate sets for Rockwell Automation digital and analog controllers and distributed I/O devices. Arnaud has also published a variety of other resources with additional libraries supporting other types of hardware, other types of devices, other systems. So Arnaud, thank you so much for submitting all of these incredible graphics. In 2nd place, we have a geofence project submitted by Alex. This project provides the ability to create circular and polygonal geofences to track user locations in the Perspective mobile app. It includes a screen for managing the fences themselves and an example screen for tracking user locations and indicating which fence the user is located in, if any. It includes all of the scripting, including the generation of the relevant database tables. This one is extremely fun to play with. Definitely go download it and check it out. But now the moment you've all been waiting for, the 1st place winner of the Exchange Challenge this year was the Perspective AC controller by Peter. This resource allows the user to control their Sensibo Sky AC control system via a mobile-friendly Perspective session. Simply input your API key into the settings page, and the resource will automatically create and remove new UDT instances corresponding to your Sensibo Sky system setup. The control system works actually via post and get messages to communicate with the Sensivo API. And this allows control of various aspects of your AC system, such as fan speed, temperature, fan mode, etc. This can also be used to track your room's temperature and humidity over time. It also has a built-in reporting system, which is pretty cool, and you can receive weekly reports either via download or email, and all that is just toggle switches in the settings page to set up. This resource is built with a Mitsubishi Heavy Industries AC system in mind, and as such may need editing depending on the AC system to be controlled, but the whole thing is built to be extensible, meaning it can be leveraged with other hardware, other applications, and even outside of just AC controllers can be used connected to other types of equipment as well. So thank you so much for Peter for that submission. As I was saying, there are so many incredible resources on the Ignition Exchange. These are just a small handful, but we definitely encourage you to go and check out the Ignition Exchange because there's a lot of good stuff there. But Travis and Kevin, any comments from you guys on these winners? I know it was a stiff competition. You guys got to help pick these winners for today.
Sure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we ended up going through. We had a lot of folks who actually submitted to the exchange over the course of the time that we have the submittal period. That was between last year at this time until this year. And we'll probably do the same thing again next year. So we have that same period. We had a lot to go through. The first year that we did the exchange challenge, there wasn't quite as much in terms of resources that have been contributed. But at this point, we're up to 150, 200 resources on the exchange. And there's just a ton out there. So it was really fun picking the top ones there. And there were a lot of really good ones that didn't actually make the cut, but were still solid resources.
Yeah, it was super hard to go through and then just pick the 3 winners. I mean, as Ken said, we had to get a 4th one in there, but honestly, I wish we could have done 10. I mean, there was a lot of really great stuff that's there, and it's really a good testament to the Ignition Exchange and the kind of power that's going to come out of it. And so I can't wait to see more community contribution. Take those resources, take them in, expand on them, and contribute back, right? The more you put into the Exchange, the more you're going to get back from it, for sure.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think, Travis, it's a real testament as well to the community itself. The Ignition community that exists out there, a community of integrators, a community of end user engineers who are creating these things every day and choosing to share them. A rising tide floats all boats. That's one of the common expressions in business, right? And I think that really applies here. If you're able to take resources that you contribute back to the exchange and use them in your own projects, and then take resources that other people are contributing to the exchange and use them in theirs.
Yes, thank you guys so much. At this point, we wanted to come back to some of your guys' questions that you have submitted via Attendify. And so this first one is actually a question for Travis, your team, or actually, no, this is for Kevin's team, it looks like. Is that a high-performance HMI that was being built?
Oh, that's a good question. So that's funny. So the question is Ryan building a high-performance HMI? The answer is no. Ryan is not. Vertech is not. Flexware is doing that. So if you take a look, I think that Flexware might still, they don't have it open right now, but yeah, that is a high-performance HMI. It's using minimized design. It's using overall design techniques that make it very simple and very easy to understand what's going on, understand where the alarms are, and very quickly at a glance understand that. So maybe it's not following exactly what the high-performance HMI handbook says per se, but it's following the design techniques and the philosophy behind high-performance HMI.
And I got to say, Kevin, looks pretty good so far.
Thanks. A surprisingly civil comment out of Travis.
Well, we're not to the end yet, so.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Yeah, I was surprised by the civility as well. But coming to another question here, somebody asked, can I use these projects in my own customer projects? Travis, can you tell us a little bit about the licensing of the Exchange and how people can use these resources?
Yeah, so to answer that question, you could definitely use these projects in your customer for your customers. I mean, that is the beauty of the Ignition Exchange. So we could take any resource that we build, we can publish that to the Exchange and make it public. And by having it be in public mode, it's out there in the public domain, right? So anybody can be able to download that and take advantage of that within their projects, expand onto it, contribute back. So that's really, we want to see that space really grow, right? As the community gets bigger, especially as we're bringing on young new talent, we want to see more amazing resources there. But yes, they're 100% free. You can take advantage of them. And everything that we're going to be doing today is going to be available there.
Thank you, Travis. Another question that came up, the most pressing question actually, is can we access the music video on YouTube? And the answer, of course, is yes. One of the benefits of us writing our own song, we own all the licensing, and so you better believe we're going to put that everywhere we can. And so you'll find that on YouTube and many other places, I am sure. But with that, let's get back to our competitors and see if they have any new tidbits for us to see of what they've been building. And so we start with Vertech last time. Let's go ahead and start with Flexware. Kevin, introduce us to your team's project now.
Yeah, that sounds good. So once again, we're going to go over to Reese in a second. He has something to show that is, somebody mentioned ML earlier, right? Machine learning. He has something along those lines to show to folks. So Reese, over to you. I see you're wiping your glasses there. You're really feeling the pressure, right?
Yes, I am. Working through something right now, but we'll get it figured out. So next resource that I'm calling the prediction engine. We need to keep track of inventory a lot, right? So wouldn't it be nice to be able to track our product that is sourcing all of our lines? Not only track, like you're seeing here on the screen, but see when it's going to run out, and then we can do things like order new material, send out alerts as to who we need to contact, when we need to contact them. This takes in a historical data set, runs it through this engine, which actually uses the built-in Apache machine learning library into Ignition, the built-in library in Ignition, and then it will predict that run out. This can apply to a lot of different types of material. We got, for example, the tank one here. You see maybe we have chlorination and maybe a water wastewater process. Paper, maybe we need to notify Michael Scott there. Maybe you have an Ignition Maker Edition at home. You want to keep track of your coffee as you're working from home. We can do that too. In fact, I ran the chances of Vertech winning through this engine, and well, the results speak for themselves. Look, it's math. I cannot make this stuff up.
Well, math doesn't lie, right? So apparently we can all trust that. But Travis, you going to take that? You think that that's real?
Well, I want to see where that data is actually coming from there. But anyways, we've got some pretty cool integrations happening on our end as well. Hey, Ryan, what do you got working with it right now?
Yeah, so if you look over at my client, we've got the voting dashboard pulled up. Alexa, ask Ignition KPI, how is the competition going?
The competition is heating up. Team Travis is crushing it.
Alexa, open Ignition KPI.
How can Ignition help you?
Notify Travis on coffee rate produced.
Which alarm are you looking for?
Low.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, Ignition will notify you when the alarm is active.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's a nice little push notification that I got.
That is pretty impressive. I've got to give that to you, Travis.
Now,
And Ryan.
Yeah, so this is significant because these push notifications are actual push notifications that show up on your phone. They're not SMS messages. So there's lots of functionality and capabilities that can come out of that.
well, that's incredible. I am excited to maybe steal that resource to use for some of my own projects. People are often looking to not just get a text message, not just SMS, but to get an actual push notification on their phone. So yeah, between push notifications, machine learning, prediction trends, things really are getting pretty intense here. But we've been able to see Travis and Kevin a lot. You may be new to Ryan and Reese, and so Travis, Kevin, was interested to see if you guys could give us a little background on your teams, these competitors, and where they came from.
Sure. Sure, we'd be happy to. So I'll go for Reese. Reese, a lot of people don't know that Reese is a strong competitor when it comes to competitive bicycling. So he's a cyclist, and he does a lot of cycling. He actually moves around a lot too. So he's a bit of a country traveler. His family's set up in a way that does that. He's from a family of 11. And so he's been practicing competition his entire life. And he's been getting ready for this moment. And he's actually also a descendant of Leonardo da Vinci.
Wait, what?
Oh, does Ryan have anything impressive?
Well, little do you know that Ryan comes from a family where he's got one sibling, and he's the oldest, and he's always been the leader in that family. And when he was 10 years old, he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
You know, Travis, it's a lot of fun to make up things about our competitors.
Yeah, but now we got to see what they're going to build.
Always fun to hear from Travis and Kevin. But I wanted to come back to the questions that you guys have been submitting via Attendify. Kevin, this first one is for Team Flexware here. Can Ignition integrate with other chat tools besides Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, that's a great question. What Flexware is building, they let me know beforehand what they were planning on building. The resource that they're going to be releasing tomorrow, that is just for Teams specifically. So if you're already using Teams, great. In general, can Ignition integrate with other chat systems? Absolutely. So the Teams integration is being done. They've also let me in a little bit behind the scenes here, right? The Teams integration is being done over the RESTful API going out to Teams. The same type of integration can be done with any other chat system that has a RESTful API and authentication keys. Of course, security is really important for these types of things, and Ignition generally can be accommodating to any sort of RESTful security that's set up.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Kevin. And speaking of those REST APIs, we had another question on how can we leverage push notifications with Ignition. Travis, were you filled in on how Vertech is doing that?
Yep, I sure was. They're using a system called an app on their phone called Pushover, and so there's a REST API that's being called, and that will send a push notification directly to the phone to that app.
Perfect. I can see these guys are sweating. We're getting towards the end of the competition. Just a few more things that are going to be happening for you guys today. And so just to give you a little bit of a rundown, at the end of this, each team will have a chance to present their projects. They'll both get a few minutes to do that. Afterwards, we will introduce you to the voting. And so in Attendify, on the right-hand side, there is going to be 3 bars that make a little bar chart. You'll be able to click on that bar chart and then select which team you want to vote for. We haven't opened up the voting yet because we don't want you to vote until you have seen the finished projects. So stay tuned. It's been a wild ride preparing for this Build-A-Thon. Especially doing it virtually. This is our first time doing a virtual Build-A-Thon. It's always been live. What's been your experience working with your team, collaborating leading up to the event, and then getting it all put together for this virtual conference?
It has been great working with the team at Vertech, and I've really gotten to know them quite well throughout this competition. And doing it virtually, it's kind of nice at first because we can have a lot of the collaboration meetings where we can, especially because we're different time zones, and we can really dig into the details of what we're going to be, trying to build here today. So it's been a really enjoyable experience, and then being able to go out there and film the videos, and then of course being here live today, it's I got to say it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and speaking of those videos, Travis, we had a few. If you didn't see those, the audience, if you did not see the training videos that were leading up to this, I'd encourage you after this to go back and take a look at those. They're a lot of fun. They have to do with how these teams got ready. They're both themed. And so if you have been ever watching 80s, 90s movies, you might have encountered a couple that we're quoting there a little bit. I think that both of us have had so much interaction with these teams because we both contributed a little bit of ourselves into this too, right? So we've been happy to actually help out with a little bit of the building. They're the ones that have been doing the main building, but we couldn't help but get our hands dirty a little bit here.
Yeah, and ultimately what's going to come out of this is going to be, the community is going to win, right? And you're going to have all these really cool resources that we're able to collaborate on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Travis and Kevin, so much production has gone into making this event happen today. any thoughts on where we go from here? How do we top this for future Build-A-Thons?
I think that's TBD. I think that there's a lot of ideas that have been thrown around from folks inside the office, from competitors, from folks who just know about the Build-A-Thon. And I don't think we know where we're going, what we're doing. I don't think we have any idea what the future actually holds here, other than the community has demanded more Build-A-Thon. So going forward, we are definitely going to be looking at how can we satisfy that demand, and how can we make the next year and the next year and the next year. If we're able to do that, how can we make those things happen and be just as exciting as this year?
Well, as Colby said, this is the main event in automation, right? This is the culmination of all of all the hard work, and we got to see this continue to go. We say every year how we're going to top the previous year, but somehow we find a way. And being with the community, we're going to get a lot more contribution to bring it up next year.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. A lot of competition, a lot of fierce competitors. A lot of folks who have that spirit of competition, who just want to get out in the ring, just like these two. You can still see them sweating over there. They are just going at this. They're trying to wrap up their last pieces of everything and make their project shine. And we're about to see something amazing, I'm sure.
And this is the part that is a little bit stressful. Got to get over that finish line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so with that, it's actually time for us to announce the 2-minute warning. That's right, they just have 2 final minutes here in order to finish up these projects. And so, as they are doing these last 2 minutes, Travis and Kevin, any final thoughts from you guys on, how your teams have done, the projects they've put together, and what you're hoping to see them demonstrate? Especially, Travis, you said that you lost due to showmanship. Any comments you have as advice to these guys as they present their projects?
Well, not only this year do we want to build something really amazing and awesome, but yes, showmanship was a major part of how we're going to approach this year. So, no, Team Vertech has really brought it this year. They are really talented, and I couldn't be more proud of the work and the hard work and the dedication they put into making this event really successful.
And I'll jump in on the Team Flexware side. I'm very, very proud as well of Team Flexware. They've put a lot of time into this. They've put a lot of effort into it. And I think we're both focused on a bit of the showmanship when it comes to the last 4 or 5 minutes here that each one has to present. So it's going to be great. We're going to be able to see all of these things laid out in a way that expresses and shares with you the resources that you'll actually be getting after the Build-A-Thon, and lets you evaluate based on what you're going to be receiving, who you think the best team is. Showmanship's important, what they're building is important, and I think what's actually being built is more important than the showmanship, but the showmanship is what keeps it entertaining for all of you, ideally it's going to be balanced on that side too. So I say I love what Flexware has done. I haven't seen everything that Vertech's done, but in the spirit of competition, may the best team win.
Absolutely, Kevin.
All right, well, we're down to just 5 seconds, so go ahead and count down with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is the end of the Build-A-Thon building period. Hands up, we want to see those hands. Woo! All right, it is done. Yeah, give a cheer, that's right. All right, well, at this point, we go to the presentation stage. So each team is going to have just a few minutes to present what they have built for us today. And so starting us off will be Team Vertech. Ryan, over to you.
Hey there, so if you can jump over to my client, I want to show off our KPI dashboard resource pack. So we have these 6 resources that we've created and are going to post on the exchange for you. First is themes. We've created icons, fonts, gradients, and a full color pack to go with these resources. And once you apply the theme, the stock ignition components will match the theme as soon as you place them in the designer without having to configure any styles. And right now you're looking at the dark KPI theme, but this is Build-A-Thon. So we built a light KPI theme for you as well. I can hit this slider and jump over and see the light KPI theme as well. Built into the theme, we also have included more than 50 animation functions ready to use. we've got a few examples. So Travis's favorite, he calls this one emotional response. If I go over the historical dashboard, you'll see the bar charts jump. It's kind of cute. And then we go back to the real-time dashboard, and we can see the map component. If I switch back to dark mode, it reloads it, and you can see those locations on the map swing in, which is pretty neat. We've also got the alarm banner over here in the menu bar that slides out and slides back in, as well as the puff in that you've already seen with the puff out. And it's important to note that all of these animations that are built into this project that come with a theme can be applied to any project, any component, any view can get these styles applied and immediately take advantage of those animations, so it's super simple. If I go over here to the voting dashboard, I want to show you a little bit about the Dashboard Studio. You're going to be able to edit the grid size and layout of the dashboard itself. In addition, you'll be able to go over here to the widget edit pane, and here's where you can add, edit, and delete widgets. So this voting's been going on. The numbers are really starting to crank up much higher than I anticipated, so good job. Keep clicking those links. That's going to help out. But we want to change the color that's on here, and I don't want to mess with hex codes, so I can just type green. It knows what I'm looking for. Hit apply. That change gets committed instantly. So it's that easy to edit widgets. So this is awesome, and it looks great on top, but I want to talk about what's under the hood. This entire project is powered by what we call the KPI framework. The KPI framework makes it really easy to get KPIs from PLCs or tag history or machine learning algorithms, any data source. And it's extremely scalable. Whether you have 10 users or 10,000 users, there's no additional load on the gateway for multiple clients using the dashboards. This is all possible because all the calculations are executed on the gateway in a central location. And the best part is, all of the configuration is available in the browser client. So what we can actually do here is create a new tag KPI pretty quickly. I'll clear my form out and say we're just going to do track our energy consumption for the plant. Give that a description there. We'll put it in kilowatts because it's not a whole lot. And I can come over here and pick a tabular data set, a time series data set. Select tag history, I can trigger it manually. I can also set the recurring rate so that every 10 seconds it's going to requery that history and select different options there. Set my look back time range. We'll go 150 seconds, 150 items, 1 value a second. And then I can select from all of my historical tags that already exist on the gateway. We'll grab this one here for our energy, hit submit. Now I've created that KPI for energy consumption. Then I can come back over to my historical dashboard because it's tag history, and I will launch, and this is our widget creator window here. You can see the 9 widgets that we've included as a part of the dashboard project. And so I will select the time series widget, come over here, select this, call this energy consumption. We will show the legend. We will say yellow for our color. Select that energy consumption KPI so that one we just created is already there for us to select. I can hit apply, and that immediately shows up on my dashboard. So I just grabbed a history tag that came from, that's been there for a long time, immediately added to my dashboard. And of course, as a next generation dashboard, you want to see this on your phone without having to do any configuration or anything like that. So if we come over here, we can look at it, what this project would look like on my iPhone dashboard. So it's important to note that we didn't do any configuration extra. We just added the widgets to the dashboard, and it automatically stacked all of them so that I get a convenient scroll pane and all of my widgets are still visible. I can even switch to other dashboards while I'm in the mobile view and see those there. And so now, let's check in with Alexa. Ask Ignition KPI, what's going on with coffee voting? Alexa, open Ignition KPI.
How can Ignition help you?
What's going on with coffee voting?
I don't know that KPI.
What's going on with chocolate voting?
The value is 4,248 votes.
Close. All right, so now we can do some other things as well. Alexa, open Ignition KPI.
How can Ignition help you?
Show the smart dashboard.
I'll bring that up for you.
Display utilities on the smart dashboard.
Which KPI are you looking for?
Power use.
Request acknowledged. I'm on it.
Display cluster chart on the smart dashboard.
Which KPI are you looking for?
Bean data.
Request acknowledged. I'm on it.
Display downtime on the smart dashboard.
Which KPI are you looking for?
Chocolate line.
Request acknowledged. I'm on it.
Display order map on the smart dashboard.
Which KPI are you looking for?
Order destinations.
Request acknowledged. I'm on it.
Close. All right, so using Alexa, I just swapped to a dashboard and added a full dashboard worth of widgets entirely with Alexa commands. And so, you know what that means is that we've got a lot more functionality that can come out. And Alexa can even run your facility's stand-up meeting tomorrow. Alexa, open Ignition KPI.
How can Ignition help you?
Report loss events for chocolate line.
How many reasons should I report?
3.
The number 1 reason for downtime was sugar crash for 131 minutes. The number 2 reason for downtime was inspection for 85 minutes. The number 3 reason for downtime was on fire for 54 minutes.
Close. Well, that is our dashboard KPI package, and we were honored to be a part of this competition. And please vote for Team Travis and Vertech.
Well, that was incredible. It's fun to see, I won't say her name, but A from Amazon helping her out there, helping him to put together dashboards. That's incredible. And of course, it was a beautiful theme. Excited to use that theme in my projects as well. But Flexware may have something to say still. So still not time to vote. Flexware, show us what you've put together today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kent. So again, next gen HMI? What is a next gen HMI? You know, with so many technologies available, how can we take advantage of those things in our machine interfaces? But before we can have all the features of a next gen HMI, we must have to have a great foundation to build upon. So this right here is a great HMI, right? It's got, like I say, one-on-one standards. We can come over here, we can click all the visuals change. We're using the new piping tool. Everything changes. I prefer simple, so we'll stick with simple. It's got symbols, alarming on the different symbols there for valves and pumps. We can pop these faceplates open. You'll notice that there's a little X denoting, hey, this is actually going to be available to you guys out there in the community. So that's simulator, that's UDTs, that's faceplates, that's this whole package ready to go for you. But these faceplates have a lot going on. So this is a quick faceplate here. So this is just going to give you quick control, saving real estate. We can expand these out when we have alarming, we have set points, we have visuals, control, spark lines, different types of maintenance values. We have alarming, all the different alarms going on. So a lot of different things. I'm just going to open up a lot of these. We can do multiple instances all at the same time. So we even have at the bottom here, we can pin this to the dashboard here, and it will stay open as we swap between screens. So we have all these features. Look, fam, do you really want Alexa listening to you while you are working throughout the day? No, I personally don't, right? What? Oh, there's Alexa. She never listens. All right, so, or maybe she's always listening. That's my point. So we need to have, what we did is we took the visuals, the things that you're going to be using, and put a lot of time into that. So a lot of it has gone into perfecting the fundamentals of this HMI. You know, there's a lot more that I want to show you, but I really don't have a ton of time. So let's buckle up and keep on rolling here. I'm actually going to lock that one, and then I'll show you it will stay open there. So as you're navigating through the different pages, there you go. The next resource is kind of an intuitive interface and mobile responsiveness. So one of the things that is different about this is kind of the navigation. It looks kind of like your iPad or your iPhone. That was on purpose. We kind of wanted to rethink this from the ground up. Folks, people are different. We think different, we program different. Heck, we even have different opinions on the mask. Let's be real. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. We can customize the actual pages that we want to see according to our liking. And you'll notice that as I switch over to the mobile view, it looks similar like your phone. And I have the navigation on the down below, right? So you don't have to reach all the way to the top left and develop carpal tunnel just trying to get to your process screen. But I didn't notice or show you this earlier, but we do have that mobile responsiveness on our HMIs as well. So switching back here. Next thing I wanted to talk about was our search functionality. Now imagine you're on the plant floor, you're walking by a pump, and maybe it's making a funky noise, right? You look at, hey, it's pump 1. A lot of times it's really difficult to know exactly where on the screen that is. So what we've included in this is the ability to search across the whole project. So we have a search project here. I'm going to type in PU, and this is actually going to search through all of the different pages. You see I have a prediction engine, all the different components. Everything is brought out to us right here. We can search through the whole project. This is going to loop through the JSON files on the gateway, so no database needed. It's going to search through all the JSON files on the gateway and figure out, okay, I have these pages I want to display and these components. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these. There we go. There, pump 7. So if I clicked on pump 7, and you can see it was highlighting right there. I'll do it one more time. So pump 8. I have 2 of them named the same there. Beautiful. All right, so you see the power of that functionality though. You can click on the filter there and it's gonna bring you to the screen and highlight exactly where you are on that screen. That's kind of the third resource I'm gonna talk through. We kind of mentioned the prediction engine already, but I just wanted to jump back here and just check the chances again. Yeah, Ryan, you're gonna be getting a low alarm anytime right now. So that's resource number 4, and then we're gonna pop over to our support menu. So we already talked through this one a little bit, and the kind of the chat functionality, going back to Teams, and we can chat with other folks going on there. What chat engine would be a chat engine wouldn't be complete without GIF integration, right? Come on. So I included this handy dandy little SOS message. So if you are really hurting for support, we got GIF integration there. So that's included as well. But folks, we're not done yet. Forget next gen HMI. Let's talk about a feature that really span generations to come. HMIs are not in a vacuum. There is so much knowledge out there, and we want to be able to tap into that in real time. So introducing the chat box. The chat box is video integration with an Ignition, not integrated with Teams, purely all Ignition, web dev endpoints and views. So to help me demonstrate this, I'm gonna see if the Flexware crew is available. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, what's up? Hey, good. Hey, I was hoping for some support here, but I don't know if I trust Clifford the big red dog there. So I'm going to go over to you, Eric. How's it going over there?
Probably good, yeah. Oh, it's going great over here. We have all the Flexware crew in here for this watch party.
Okay, let's see them.
Is this pan a little bit here?
Hey, awesome. That's a great crew you got going on there. Nice.
Man, we got all the support.
Awesome. Well, you guys are the top integrators of the year last year, so I'd expect absolutely nothing less. So, all right, well, let's demonstrate some support functionality here. So say I want to view this page, right? And I would like to know what the pump set point is. So Derek, I'm going to call on you from sort, even though, it's a little sketchy. I'm curious what the set point of this pump might be.
Which pump is that again? Can you share your screen?
I sure can. We got that functionality as well. We thought of it all. So increasing this from 60 to what do you think it might be? You see that?
Set point for that should be 62.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Well, not 63. Let's actually make it 62. Excellent. Hey, while I got you on here, I got this historical playback controller. Now, if you guys hadn't paid attention to any of the previous ones, I pulled this directly from the Exchange, and this actually, switches it into historical mode, and we can drag this around and move this around, and you can see the values changing according to the history that happened. So it's really a contextual trend. But Derek, I'm curious if you know how well this would really scale adding multiple pumps or multiple tanks or whatever that might be.
That's a tough question. I got somebody on speed dial, and I'm calling him now.
Okay.
He'll know better than I would.
Okay. Well, I wonder who this might be. Oh, hey, Kevin. Hey, how's it going?
I'm kind of in the middle of something right now.
You are? What you got going over there?
This is a little thing called the Build-A-Thon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm a part of that too. So yeah, we're in the same boat.
Oh yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah. So I was just curious how well this historical playback controller would scale, adding multiple pumps and multiple tanks and that kind of thing to it.
Sure, yeah. So it actually, behind the scenes, it uses system.util.getglobals. So it uses the global dictionary inside the Ignition gateway. And it's going to be caching everything automatically. So it pulls back 60 seconds worth of cache. It has that on the gateway. All of the clients that are connecting to it are pulling from that cache. So you're not having multiple different hits to the database. What that means is that you can probably scale, 20, 30, 50, probably 100 clients without a problem. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that input, guys, and thanks for jumping on and helping me out with some support here. I think that'll do it for me. There's these 5 resources. And that's all I got. Go vote. Go download them. You know you want them. Go get them.
All right. Give him a hand. All right. Well, we are out of time. So we are going to go straight to voting at this point. So we're going to go ahead and open up the voting. To remind you how to vote, up in the top right-hand corner, you're going to be looking for that bar chart, 3 vertical bars. You're going to click on that. You're going to be able to vote for your favorite team, Team Travis and Vertech, who built this incredible dashboard, or you're going to be voting for Team Kevin and Flexware, who have built this incredible next-gen HMI. And so the voting is just going to be open for about a minute here, so please go vote quickly so we can get you the results right away. And so just in that 1 minute, as we're waiting for you to vote, Travis or Kevin, any comments from you guys?
Man, those were 2 incredible resources. I gotta say, I mean, you guys brought it. That was a pretty cool talk box. I think I'd have to use that one.
Yeah, you guys brought it too, man. I mean, I think that both of these, this is stiff competition here. I want to win. I want our team to win, and I'm nervous because what you were showing was great. What we were showing, I think, was pretty good too. But
yeah, I'm sweating a little bit, but I can't wait. Let's see those results.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting.
Well, then hopefully you've had a chance to vote there on the Attendify platform, but we're going to go ahead and close the voting now. And so with no further ado, I give you the newest champion of the Ignition Build-A-Thon. Here are the results. Well, look at that. Woo! Team Vertech. All right, well, it was a close competition there. As you can see, some incredible things that have been created. So congratulations to Team Vertech and to Team Flexware. Well-fought competition. But at this point, we do have a bit of a championship ceremony. At this point, I'd like to invite Kevin to come up with me, and also to invite Ryan from Vertech to come up next to me. Now, what's really interesting is you may have noticed these orange jackets that Travis and Kevin have been wearing today. And in addition to these being an epic statement piece, they are also the championship jackets that are exclusive only to former champions of past Build-A-Thons. And today you get to join us for the inaugural first ceremony of giving a jacket to the new champion. And the person who will be bestowing that jacket on Ryan today will be the reigning champion, Kevin McCluskey. And so with that, Kevin, go ahead and anoint our new champion. All right, well, there you have it. It's been a fun conference this year. Thank you so much for joining us and coming online. Hopefully we can be in person again soon. But until then, enjoy. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Be the champion of the Build-A-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion of the Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Vote for your VIP. Be the champion of the Build-A-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion of the Build-A-Thon. Flexware and Vertech, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Come on and vote for me.